About halfway into my own hero's journey on this training, I realized that parts of my own self-image were starting to actually not serve me anymore. Up until this point in my life, I had done quite a few years of work on myself through many different modalities. But through this practice, I actually got quite surprised at the level of masquerading I was still doing. The way I was still often just habitually reacting to the world, instead of slowing down enough to let what was actually going on inside me come to the surface. But as so many times before, this was not an experience I was alone with.
I think I got quite frightened when I first realized the full extent of this sense that I might not know where I'm fully coming from when I'm speaking, or I might be feeling something and be speaking something that's actually in opposition or isn't connected fully. And then that might sound like, oh, okay, so just discover it, but it's not. Like when you really start to feel into more of what's here and the subtleties and question if you really know what's there, it seems to bring up an uncertainty or a vulnerability that like you don't know yourself, and you can be discovered to be like not really in your truth. And it's a pretty intense experience actually, and especially because you could have been interacting with people in your business or your family or your loved ones from a place of like, yeah, this is me, and then you explore deeper and you realize that it wasn't fully true, and now suddenly you've got everything's changed, and that's quite an intense experience. It certainly was for me.
What happened to me doing the SAS was a feeling of acknowledging all that I already have and already am, and becoming aware that how I am moving in the world is my responsibility. And then the context of the SAS, it's a playground to become aware that whatever playground I'm in, I'm the one in charge. Taking responsibility and surrendering at the same time to what is here. Kind of like standing with that knowledge from having slayed dragons and from having laughed and from having cried and had tough and beautiful and everything in between kind of experiences. Like standing with the knowledge that the surrender is mine and the responsibility is mine. And feeling like the circling education kind of taught me or showed me a way to bridge it. And then I had to do the sewing together of those two terms somehow.
And then once in a while I go on a new hero's journey. So it's not one, there's like several of them. And meeting new trials and tribulations and dying in new ways and then bringing something new back in.
Coming out of the container where all of the context are removed somehow and where we're just with the present, and coming into, I don't know, going to the supermarket or being with family or friends that are not in the practice. It can seem like, we're not, like this is not important, we're not accessing anything that is unknown to us. So like recognizing, it makes me really frustrated to be in this world that is without the bubble of the practice. But also recognizing that by resisting the world as it is, I'm not bringing the practice into life. So I think a part of me was surprised that it became a journey like it became. It felt like I had an idea when I signed up about what would happen, and I also see that it took a lot of me, and now I see how much it gave me. So it feels like the hero's journey is a repeated thing after the SAS. Like you go on that journey, and it feels nice to have that kind of framework to kind of be, oh, okay, I heard the call, I paid the money, and now I'm packed my bags and I'm going on the first dive. And then you come back and you're like, okay, now I'm not alone anymore on this journey, and we're all here. And then there's the peak. And the peak can also be a lack of peak, or the feeling of like not getting anywhere, or like not breaking through as I wanted to, like not, like where the fuck is this dragon? So it feels like a nice framework for stepping on the train. But it also feels like it's a part of stepping on to a journey like that. It's like you don't know where you're gonna end.